Okay, so now we have reached our final technique, our final question type for RUAE. So very well done to all of you. Very well done in completing the course. And now we have reached the final sort of technique, which is going to be context questions. Now, what I should say, okay, is I've left this to the end, okay, because these questions don't really come up, okay? In terms of past papers, from what I've seen, I maybe saw this question one time in 6 or 7 years, something like that, yeah? Which is why I've left it to the end. Also, if you look at the way that the RUAE course is organized, what I've done is I've organized it in terms of most important to sort of least important. So all of the most important key skills, they all come at the beginning, and then it goes by that sort of measurement. So spend most of your time, okay, focusing on those skills at the beginning, practicing those skills in the beginning, using them in as many texts and different types of texts that you have to learn, using them with as many different types of text as you can. And then with these other ones, spend time on them if you have sort of extra time, basically. Okay, because they don't really come up too much, and if they do come up, at most they'll be maybe worth 2 marks, but likely they'll only be worth sort of 1 mark. Okay. Okay. So to begin, we have a definition, which is what is a context question? It is the question, or it's the question where you're asked to explain the meaning of a word by analyzing the words around it. Again, like I said, you're not familiar with this probably because you probably haven't seen it before. Again, I've only seen it maybe one time in 6 or 7 years, something like that. But we'll do it anyway, just so you have sort of an idea. Okay, again, so it's about explaining the meaning of a word that you might not know the meaning of, using the words around it, yeah, the context. That's what context means. Context means the sort of situation or environment or setting that a thing happens in, or where something is located in. That is context. Okay, so the next thing is purpose. So what is the point of the question? What does it test for? It tests to see, can a student use words that they know to explain words that they don't know? So can you use words that you understand and know to explain a new word, yeah? A word that's difficult, a word that you haven't seen before. Can you use what you know already to sort of explain what that word means? That's what it's testing for. Okay, now how to do it? How to do it? Okay, so the way that you do it is as follows. So again, you go to the lines, you read around the difficult word. So there'll be a word in there which would be quite difficult. For example, if just for the sake of example, say if you didn't know what the word, let me see. Okay, here we go. If there's a word here, nutritional, if you didn't know what nutritional means, you would read this, so what sort of is being spoken about before, and then you would read this, what is being spoken about after, and you kind of realize all of it's talking about food. So you realize nutritional has something to do with food. Okay, so that's what it means in terms of reading around. Okay, and then you write down what you think the difficult word means. So, for example, nutritional, you would say nutritional relates to food. And if it was about sort of this quote here, nutritional thinking, you would say nutritional thinking means uh, trying to or thoughts about food or thoughts about diet, anything like that, yeah? Something like that. Just basically saying what you think it means. And then you quote from around the word. So you need to quote from something that comes before or after. like this. Cheese for everyone, you could quote that. Dietary problems, you could quote that. Animal protein, you could quote that. Just quote sort of one thing or two things. And then you explain the meaning of what you've quoted. So for example, if I quoted dietary problems, I would say dietary problems, and then I would say this relates to having issues with food that you eat. And then you just, after you've done that, that's explaining the meaning. Then you just use this as your starter sentence. This helps the reader to understand the difficult word as it suggests that it relates to food, it relates to thoughts about food. That's it. Now I'm going to show you a very quick example. Actually, we'll just do that example since I brought it up. So we'll take nutritional thinking. Okay, and the question will be, what does the quote mean? Use the context to help you. Something like that, yeah? To help you explain. Okay, so we have nutritional thinking is the quote. Here we go. Okay, and we're using the context to help us explain. So we have nutritional thinking. We don't know what that means. So we go to the text and we realize, okay, it's talking about ration, that's food. Meat, eggs, and cheese, that's food. Dietary problems, that's food. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll just quote a couple things. Well, we'll say what it means first. We'll say what we think it means. We say this means thoughts about food or how you eat. Okay, and then we'll quote meat, cheese, and eggs. There's a quote. These are types of food, and then we'll just quote one more, which is dietary, what I mentioned before, the dietary thing. Dietary, this relates to eating food. Okay, and then we'll just use that starter sentence. This helps the reader to understand the difficult word. Okay, let me just bring this up a little bit. Here we go. Okay, this helps the reader to understand the difficult word as it suggests the writer is speaking about food and how we eat it. Something like that, yeah? There you go. There you go. So basically all you do, all right, is you're just saying what the word means, what you think it means, and then how you sort of got to that answer. Okay, by quoting, sort of saying what those quotes, relate to or mean. And then just sort of a final little sentence, tying it all together, saying this helps the reader understand what the difficult word is. And again, you only need one quote. I just did two to sort of make the point. You only need one, yeah? And then you just say this helps the reader to understand the difficult word as it suggests to speak, and then just whatever it suggests, yeah? Basically whatever you wrote here, you just say that here. Again, you don't need to worry too much about this question because it's very, very unlikely to come up, like I said. And if it does come up, at most it will be 2 marks. Maybe 1, yeah? Maybe 1. Okay, so that is RUAE. Very well done. That is all the theoretical information and all of the skills for RUAE. Very well done. Good job. Good job in listening and taking notes and learning all of that. Very well done. You should be very proud of yourself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to have a sort of final test, and basically what you want to do from here, okay, is you want to take all the skills that you've learned, especially those top 3 in your own words, word choice and the comparison, and you want to start applying them not only to past papers of RUAE, but also apply them in your Scottish text and in your essay quotes, yeah? And you'll see exactly how to do that once we get to the set text, the Scottish text, and the essay section. Okay, so very well done, and good luck on the test.